Hi, everyone. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Dr. Elham Raker at Ask Dr. Mom, here to answer all your kid questions on my virtual platform, is where you can find me. I am here today with Dr. Rashmi Schramm of Optimal Wellness, and I am so excited to have her on because I feel like she would have been such an asset to me when I had little kids and I was losing my a lot, um, and could have really used some quick tips on how to handle those crazy moments with toddlers, crazy moments with, those school age kids when you literally just flip your lid. So she's going to talk to us today about tips that we can use quickly and easily when, we need a little mental break.
Thrilled to be here. Thank you so much for having me. So my name is Dr. Rashmi Schramm. I am a family physician. I've been practicing for a little over 20 years. And I'm also an integrative wellness coach. But really, my big passion in life is teaching mindfulness, meditation, especially to really busy women, busy moms, and teaching these quick tips just so they can start to get some wins right away. And like you said, I am not a stranger to the flipping of the lid because I have teenagers and, my fuse is a lot longer now because, at least I do a lot of this work on myself and I have been for several years. But man, you're absolutely right. If I had even a fraction of these tools when my kids were really little, when they were babies and toddlers, I feel like my whole family would have had a different experience.
100%.
Yeah. Yeah. So, what I do is I help busy women to really let go of guilt. I see a lot of moms coming to me with guilt, especially if they're trying to look at any kind of self-care for themselves. I help them to let go of the guilt and I help them to tap into inner peace and power so they can live life with more energy and more purpose. And I do that with one-on-one coaching, and I also have group programs as well.
Love it. Love it. Love it. So tell us one tip or a couple tips, whatever you think is useful in the heat of the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. So, one of the things that I do myself and something that I teach as well, it's just, let's say we're in, like the heat of the moment, like you said, and there's a lot of chaos happening, and then there's layers of chaos that start to pile on, and that can happen in 2 minutes sometimes if you've got young kids. Is really just and you find yourself, you're like, okay, the lid is going to flip. And there's just a simple mnemonic, and it's just stop, which is STOP. And so the S really just stands for stop. And so, we can usually, unless, like a toddler's about to run into the street or something, we obviously shouldn't be stopping then. But if everyone is fairly safe and it's just that you're finding your irritability factors running up to 12 out of 10, stop. And then the T is take at least 1 to 2 breaths. And the breaths, and I teach some breathing exercises as well. Really, the easiest way to move from that sympathetic fight or flight response to a parasympathetic response is just to take a couple of belly breaths. I mean, we call them belly breaths. We're obviously not really breathing through our belly, but moving that diaphragm down and really feeling the belly come out, that right away will turn on the parasympathetic response. And right away, obviously, we move from that fight or flight, limbic system, which is really where we're very limited in our ability to access some higher thinking, into, okay, now I can actually start to formulate some of this. So you basically just take 2 breaths. And if you have a way that you breathe that works for you, then that's fine too. And then the P is actually, the O is observe. So we've got S, T, and then O is observe, is just observe, like what is going on, like, and try to do it almost like a detective, which means like, generally I think of detectives as being without judgment, right? Like, what am I seeing here? Right. And so I'm seeing, a kid who like threw a tantrum, or the kid who didn't clean up when I asked her to, or whatever it is. So you just observe, which already kind of takes you a little bit farther from that real anger or irritable moment. And so we've got STOP, and then P is proceed with love. And so if you can, and the more we practice this, the better we get at it. And so, and it takes, I don't know, 60 seconds, 90 seconds. And so you just go stop, STOP, right? You just literally stop, take a breath, you observe, you proceed with love. And so that's something that's really worked well for me, and something that I've seen works really well for other moms as well. And it works for
I
everybody. You don't have to be a mom.
love
It just
that.
works.
100%. I mean, I could use that with my husband too.
Yeah.
I mean, that, yeah, I could flip my lid with him too. Um, I love that so much. I love the mnemonic. I love how simple it is. And I'm literally, as you're saying it, I'm going through it in my head. I was telling Rashmi that I had a little flip of the lidding this morning with my son, flipping of the lid with my son this morning. So I'm thinking about that scenario and how I could have used it with him. And the proceed with love. So for me, with parenting, that has been such a big thing that I'm realizing now, is that so many things we learn in traditional discipline and parenting um, lead to more disconnection than connection. So the proceed with love, I think, is so great, because for me, the last thing I think about is, am I building a connection with my child, or am I hurting my connection with my child? So that's what the proceed with love, that's what I thought of immediately is, okay, now we need to build a connection, not disrupt the connection. So that's great. I love it. I'm going to use it.
Yeah, and what a great opportunity for growth too, each time for your relationship in particular, because you're right, it's always evolving, right? Like, and when we proceed with love, which is what all of us are at our core anyway, then we actually get to be more authentic to ourselves. And that's actually why it feels so good when we do proceed with love.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Um, okay, another quick tip. So if you are, you're actually in a calm state of mind and you want to stay in that state of mind. I know that I've been wanting to meditate for years and years and years and understand the benefits, but really with two little kids, it was next to impossible. But do you have something for a mom that can do maybe when their kids are napping, or maybe they have a moment in the day that's quiet? What's like a quick way that they can just, you know, maintain that calmness?
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of times when we have, 10 minutes, let's say, we may end up doing either meaningless chores or chores that maybe didn't have to get done, or maybe we're scrolling through social media. I mean, that's just kind of how we're conditioned. And so one of the things that I really like to be, sort of embodying and also teaching about is just trying to move through our day with some amount of consciousness and some amount of self-compassion. And when we do that, obviously we're exuding that into our family and to everyone else that we meet anyway. And so, yeah, if you have 5 minutes or 10 minutes and you're interested in any kind of, interconnection or really something like that, which we know builds the connection with ourselves, it connects us to others, and we get to live in that parasympathetic state that I talked about a little bit. And in time, we start to see big changes in the brain. So it's really little changes that can lead to big results later, so long as we're just a little bit consistent with it. And so I have a host of, 8-minute, 10-minute meditations on my YouTube channel. I get a lot of good feedback on those, and I teach those just based on some of the years of, that I've spent studying meditation and just being able to teach it. And I'm really aware that people don't have either 20 minutes twice a day or 30 minutes twice a day, at least not initially. And I felt the same way as well. And so that's always a good place to start. If you don't even want to have any kind of electronics near you, like then you can literally just sit still and just observe your breath. And if you did that for even, let's say, 2 minutes, put a timer on, or anything, we just have to, when we close our eyes, we get to go inward. So you can just sit and observe your breath without really any judgment. That's an amazing place and time to be able to detox the mind, even if you have 2 or 3 minutes. And so I would say just take that time and try it out, right? And see what shows up for you. And don't stop. Just keep going. If you need help, know that there are people that can help. Know that there are some apps that are also good places to dip some toes in as well.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to get started. And that's actually how I did it is with an app, because I needed that guidance, to kind of tell me where to go and how to get there initially. Um, and I think the breathing is so key. I remember doing that with my kids when, they were stressed out, and it was a lot about, we talk about like being a balloon and then letting it
Mhm.
all out. So I did that for them, but then I realized I'm like, okay, this is helping me too. So
Yeah.
I know that's another good thing that I, initially was like, oh, I'm doing this for them, but realized like if we do this together, it's going to help me maintain that calmness also. So
Yeah, yeah, and that's it. It's emotions are contagious. And so if we're in a calm and, generally content state of mind, people and animals sense that too. Like every time I meditate, my dog like comes over and lays next to me and she's just so calm. And so it's just an amazing, contagious, sort of way to be.
yay. I love that. And I agree. So where can people find you and your YouTube channel if they want to learn more about what you do and the meditation?
Yeah, so my YouTube channel is Dr. Rashmi Schramm, Optimal Wellness MD. My website is also optimalwellnessmd.org. And on Instagram, I'm at Dr. Dr. period, and then my name, which is Rashmi Schramm. And I do generally post lots of quick little tips for busy moms to tap into, and I would love for folks to try them out.
Perfect. I love it. And we'll put everything in the notes as well so people can find you.
Awesome.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Rashmi. So good
Thank you,
talking to
Ellen.
you. Okay.
Yes, thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Mm.